When I was a kid, I really loved ketchup, and I loved ketchup on a lot of foods that I would put it on. But as I got older, I got really into diving, which you can probably see further back on my channel. I have a couple diving videos, and I eventually went to the University of Florida and dove for them, and then I finished diving there. But the reason I talk about ketchup is because when I was 12, I actually quit ketchup cold turkey, and it was the first thing that I remember, at least now looking back, the first thing that the first decision I made that was about health and wellness, that was a real permanent change. And it seems silly, oh, you quit ketchup you stopped eating ketchup so that you could be healthier. And I was like, well, yeah, because one day I looked at the nutrition label on it and it was just tons of sugar. And I was like, why would I keep having this if my goal is to reduce my sugar intake or whatever I was thinking at the time. And for me at the time, it was all about just getting better at diving, and anything I could do to make myself a healthier person or more fit to be better at diving, I was going to do, basically. And it was all about just health. And that's why it never spiraled into anorexia or any sort of eating disorders, because it was all about health. It was always about just making myself healthier. And then obviously if you go too far with it, then you end up with bad habits. But people always say you're killing yourself slowly with your habits, and I disagree. They usually say that around things like eating or smoking or the lack of exercise or something like that, but everybody will always attribute the end result with the long time before it, saying oh, this end result took a long time to get to, that's why it's killing you slowly. But really, what you should do is reverse it. And this is how I've always thought about it, and I don't understand why people don't think about it this way. So you're at the beginning of the journey and you start the habit. You're like, oh, I'm not going to go to the gym. Maybe after a year of not going to the gym, that's a small amount of time in the grand scheme of things. You can extrapolate that out and say, okay, gosh, if I don't go to the gym for the next however long I'm alive, 60 years, 80 years, whatever, that's going to have whatever outcome. That's going to be bad. And that's short term. People don't think about it right now. You're just living your life and you don't extrapolate out how it's going to affect you down the road. Oh, I just had one cigarette. I was just trying it, and then all of a sudden you're smoking 2 packs a day. Those habits compound quickly, but you can extrapolate that out, and it happens like that. The moment you do the thing for the first time, or you start the bad habit, that's when it begins, and that's the cascade, and people look back on it saying, oh, that took forever to get here. But no, it happened in one moment. It was really short, and that's why it's killing you quickly. And so I want to show you how I think about habits, because I've always thought about it this way, and I think it might be helpful. Okay, say you're 20 here, and this is where you die or something, 80 years old, and you pick up a bad habit here, and then that eventually leads to a health outcome down here that kills you. But people are always like, oh, this is where this whole time you were killing yourself slowly. But no, it was just right here. That moment is where you started. That's why I think it happens quickly. So the way I think about habits is you're here, and you just have hallways, and this is what I'm going to represent a hallway with, and they're not too far apart. They're right next to each other. And this is, maybe let's just call it down the dotted line here, or light line. This is the bad side and the good side. That could be different for different people, but whatever. That's just how we're going to say it. And you start going down this hallway, and then you're picking up a bad habit, and then you're like, oh, actually I want to go this way a little bit. So you start going down this hallway, and then you get down that hallway a little bit, and you're like, actually I like this way a little bit more, and then this way, and whatever. It branches off. You've got these habits that you're picking up along the way, and they morph slightly as you get further and further. But notice how there's no hallways to go from bad side to the good side. They all stay on one side. And in order to get over here, to reverse this bad habit and make it good again, you have to go backwards all the way to the start before you can go this way. There is no jumping over. That doesn't happen. And this no man's land where you're just kind of stuck with bad habits is where a lot of people stay. Now, some people go cold turkey and they switch, they turn a bad habit off all the way back. They go straight back. They run down the hallway. And that's super impressive because all of this is a compounding effect in one direction. As you're looking down this one long hallway here, it looks like it's a straight line. But actually, as you get further down the hallway, it starts to slope and it gets faster and faster and faster and faster until you just have so much momentum pulling you down. You just have so much momentum pulling you down in that direction, which is the so-called bad direction. But at first it just seemed like, oh, this is like not a big deal. And that's where you are up here. Not a big deal, not a big deal, not a big deal. Oh, something's happened. Oh, my doctor's telling me, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. And then you're down here. That's where the 80-year-old is. And if you think about it, trying to climb up a bad hill that's super steep, if you're here on this line and you turn around to look back and you're looking up, you can't even see where you started anymore because it's blocked by that hill that you just went down really fast. You're looking up here, that's really daunting. And that's why a lot of people don't make it back to the start. They don't reverse those bad habits because of how hard it is to get back on that track. You've cemented that habit into your brains and subconscious so much that it's impossible for you to reverse it, basically. Now, let's talk about the good side real quick. You're on the good habit side, then you kind of go towards the bad a little bit, but no, you actually like this way, and then that way, and you actually get back onto this hallway, which, whatever, maybe that happens, maybe it doesn't, and then you keep going, or you go this way, whatever. You keep going in the good direction. Now, what that looks like, you're looking down that hallway, and it looks pretty flat at first, but what's interesting about the good habit is that as you go further along, it compounds in a positive direction, and you get better and better outcomes. And that happens with that one habit that you have. Maybe it's working out. As you get older and older, having more lean muscle creates a longer lifespan for you because you have, there's many reasons for it, but basically having more lean muscle and maybe having cardiorespiratory fitness, it's all going to improve your lifespan and health span as you get older. So that makes the outcome even better as you get older and older. The other positive thing about this is good habits breed new good habits. So as you get further along this one habit, a parallel habit will come into play, and it might even take your trajectory up faster. Oh, you like working out, and then, oh, you know what? I actually kind of like nutrition. Boom, new habit gets adopted early on. And then that nutrition plus exercise, oh, wow, look at that. It just skyrockets you. So your habits are killing you quickly. And that's kind of the whole point about this. But if you just start with one thing, like I stopped eating ketchup. That's nothing. But I think that you can extrapolate that out and say, I stopped eating ketchup, and then when I was a senior in high school, I became state champion. And now to some people that would seem crazy, like how is it possible that you stop eating ketchup, stopping that one thing led to you becoming state champion? And it's because it wasn't just that one thing. It was a chain of things that resulted from that one thing. You don't know how much that one lifestyle change can really affect you down the line. Think about the habits that you have, and think about the things that are killing you quickly, not slowly. Think about reversing that and going back down the hallway faster and sooner before you start falling down that slope in a bad way. That way you can just live a better life. And that's what this is all about. So don't let your habits kill you quickly, and I'll see you in the next video.